The Interstate Highway System is a complex and massive road system in the United States that carries millions of people every day. Today it spans over 40,000 miles, which is very big. However, it used to not always be this way. It used to not even exist, and was signed into law by President Eisenhower in 1956. It slowly grew every year until here we are right now in 2023. But it's not really slowing down. There's still miles of interstate being built every day, and there's several interstates being worked on right now. So we're going to look at 5 of those that are either being constructed or have plans for them to be constructed. So let's start with our number 1, which will be I-7. This one I put first on the list, not only because it carries the most traffic, but also because it links the most people. It will be on the right side of I-5 in California between Bakersfield and Sacramento. I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to go all the way north to Redding, since it would also serve Yuba City, which is another medium-sized city in the Central Valley. But this one just serves a lot of people and definitely should be built. It's already pretty much there. It follows California 99, which is a freeway already, just needs a little bit of upgrades to bring it to interstate standards. Alright, so number 2, we have 11. Now, it's not just in Arizona, and there's multiple proposals for where this one will go. There's one that goes all the way from the Mexican border in Nogales all the way to the Canadian border near Bonners Ferry. But I'll say the most likely route is one between Reno and Phoenix. Now, this one's really important for a lot of reasons. Phoenix and Las Vegas aren't that far apart, but it takes very long to drive between them. It takes a better part of a day just to drive between them, even though they're not too far apart. They're two biggest cities in the United States that don't have a direct freeway connection, despite being pretty close. Also, Nevada doesn't really have a major north-south route. I-15 doesn't really go north-south throughout the state, and Reno has no sort of freeway connection to Las Vegas. So constructing I-11 will connect the two cities, as well as connecting Phoenix and Las Vegas. So number 3, we have I-14. This will likely be the longest one on the list, going all the way from Fort Stockton in Texas to Augusta, Georgia. This interstate will kind of act as a middleman between I-10 and I-20, and serve a lot of the fall line cities in Alabama and Georgia, as well as some of the cities in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi between I-10 and I-20. Some of the cities along this route are some of the poorest in the United States, and even outside of the cities, the rural areas are also very, very poor, being on track with some of the better third world countries, which definitely isn't good. And as a bonus point, it will help out the local Burger King, given interstate traffic to the drive-thru. Jokes aside, number 4 is I-87. Not the one in New York, we're not expanding that one. Instead, we're building a new one in North Carolina and Virginia, which even though it's more east-west, it's been designated as I-87 by the government for whatever reason. It goes between two pretty large metros, with Raleigh being much faster growing than the other one. The Hampton Roads region is growing too. It also serves underrated Rocky Mount, which has about 70,000 people, as well as connecting Raleigh to the east instead of just making all the traffic go west, north, or south. And when it's hurricane time, you don't have to be like this car and run away on I-64, because you can now use I-87 as well. Now this last one is a bit different. This just goes to show how much of the United States is really connected by interstates. And that is number 5, which is I-92. Now this one isn't really set in stone, but I'd say the most likely route is between Albany and Portsmouth, New Hampshire. This one kind of serves the need of east-west traffic in northern New England, and could serve as a way to not go east through Boston on I-90. It will serve southern Vermont and New Hampshire, and it also gives northern New England an east-west connection, which is something they don't really have right now. This one's really only been talked about, not really been any plans yet, but the general consensus is that northern New England needs some sort of east-west interstate, which this is what they plan to solve that issue. This is what we have for the east-west highway connection in New England. It doesn't serve Maine, but Maine doesn't have that many people, so it doesn't really matter that much. Plus, it's not like I-95 in Maine is that busy anyway. So you have now arrived at the end of the video, where you're invited to subscribe as well as watch another video. I think you should do both, unless you have already subscribed, which isn't very likely, but whatever.